Hi everyone! So today we're making a very special Lebanese dish. In Beirut it's called Mudardara, and in other parts of Lebanon it's called Imjadara. So it's essentially the same thing, but it's made slightly differently around the region. So we're using brown lentils. That's 1 can of brown lentils. We're using a cup and a half of rice, 2 onions, and for the spices, there's 1 teaspoon of salt, half a teaspoon of pepper, 1 teaspoon of turmeric, 1 teaspoon of cumin, and 1 teaspoon of allspice. So we're also going to be making a tomato and onion salad, and so you just need a red onion, tomato, and some grenadine, pomegranate grenadine sauce, and we're also going to need olive oil for that, which we'll see later. So first I'm taking my onions and I'm just removing the peel, and actually I'm going to be adding another onion, so I realized that I needed more onion here. So in total you're going to need 3 onions for this, and you'll see why. So you're going to take 2 of the onions and just slice them into thin slices, just like that, because what we're going to be doing with that is burning the onions. And you'll notice that you'll need a lot of onion because it starts off to look like a lot of onion, but once you get it caramelized and it starts to get dark brown, it will become a lot smaller. So that's why 2 full onions, and they're not large onions, they're small to medium sized onions, so you'll notice that you'll need a lot. So now I'm just taking 1 onion here and dicing it. And so I've diced the entire onion there. So we've got 1 diced onion and 2 sliced onions. So next you're going to be putting some vegetable oil into a frying pan. And you're going to want to heat that up. You're also going to want to heat up about 2 tablespoons of olive oil into a pot. So I was doing both of these at the same time, so the pot heated up first. So I'm just adding in the diced onion in that one, and we're going to saute that until they become translucent. And so onto our frying pan here, we're just going to add the sliced onion, and we're going to start caramelizing that and getting it to an almost burnt state. So you're going to want to just on medium heat keep stirring that, and it takes a little while, but you have to keep your eye on it because once it starts to get caramelized it can go very quickly and become too burnt. You don't want it to be too burnt, you want it to be just right. So I'm adding some salt, and the salt is really important. It helps to bring that caramelization. So I've just added in the rest of the onions there, and so now that's all the sliced onions. Adding a little more salt. And then you're just going to be stirring that occasionally while you're cooking your rice and lentils here. So now I've added in the lentils, and so these lentils are from the can. So of course you could use dried lentils, but as you know, my channel is really about quick meals, trying to come home from work and get dinner on the table, and so that's why I'm using a can of lentils. And I had drained those lentils and rinsed them. So now I'm just adding in the spices there and giving that a good mix. So next we're going to be adding in the rice, and as you know, in my previous videos I always mention that you're going to want to soak your rice, and so this is basmati rice, and I've soaked it for about half an hour ahead of time and then drained it. And then so we're just adding in that rice to the lentils and stirring it around to make sure that everything's evenly coated. And then going back to our onions here, you can see how it's starting to caramelize. You can see that they're turning brown, and it's just really important to continue to stir it, make sure that it's being evenly cooked. So now going back to our pot, I'm adding in the boiling water. So since we had 1.5 cups of rice, we need to double that in water. So I'm adding 3 cups of water here and giving that a stir. And we're just going to bring that to a boil. It shouldn't take long since the water was already boiling from the kettle. So now we're just going to cover it and lower the heat on 2. Now going back to our onions here, you can see that they're coming to a really nice brown stage. And at this point, I'm just watching it very closely because at this point it's starting to get brown quite quickly, and like I said, you don't want it to be too burnt, or at least I don't like it to be too burnt. I like it to be just in between caramelized and burnt. So you can see now that we're getting to a very nice color. So once the onions are ready, you just want to put them into a bowl with some paper towel underneath. And you can just set that aside until we're ready to serve. So I'm going to make the salad here. So it's a very simple tomato and red onion salad. And it goes so nicely with the Mudardara because it's got a kind of a tartness to it that really complements the dish so well. So this tomato is quite large, the one I'm using. It's one of those giant tomatoes. So if you had a regular sized tomato, you could just dice up the entire thing. But in this case, since I have this huge tomato, I don't need all of it. So I'm just cutting up about half of it right now. And as you can see, I'm struggling to cut it. But so you're gonna need all that diced. And then I'm just adding that into the bowl. And I'm just cutting off a little bit more. And then dicing that up. Okay, so you're gonna add all that to the bowl. So there we go. So now we're going to be dicing up some of the red onion. And you're probably thinking, wow, there's a lot of onion in this dish. And there is, but it's essential. So you don't need that much red onion because it's going to be raw. It's going to go in the salad. So you really only need a few tablespoons of this. So you're just going to dice that up. And I love red onion for salads. It just gives such a great flavor, especially with the tomato. I find that they blend really, really well together. So you want to dice it as small as you can there. Okay, so next we're going to just add, so like I said, we're definitely not going to need all this. I diced way too much. So I'm just adding about 3 tablespoons of the diced onion. And I'm using my judgment, like I'm just looking at it and seeing if there's a good ratio between the tomato and the onion. So that looks to be just right. So I'm adding in a little bit of olive oil now. So that's 1, 2, and 3 tablespoons. Yes, 3. Okay, and then we're going to be adding the pomegranate grenadine sauce. It is so good. I love this. It's all you need is a drizzle. It's really strong. It has a really strong taste because it's very concentrated. But you only need a little, and it gives you this citrusy and sweet and tart kind of flavor. And that's it. That's all you need. So now going back to our Mudardara, so look at it, it's looking so good and it has that beautiful yellow color. And we're going to be serving it now. So this is the traditional way to serve it, is to serve it on a nice big plate and just spread it all around. And look at those lentils. This is so healthy. If you're a vegetarian or vegan, like this is just could be your go-to dish. It's got all the protein in the lentils. It's a full meal. You don't need any meat. You don't need anything to go along with this. It's complete. It's got everything. And you know what? It makes a huge portion. You could have this for leftovers the next day, and kids even like it. Like, how often can you say that you can get your kids to eat lentils and vegetables? This is such a great way to do it. So there you go. It's all done and it's looking so good. So all you need to do is serve yourself some of that rice and those beautiful fried onions and top it with the salad, and you're in for a treat. And that's it. So how simple was that? This dish took 45 minutes to make. It's so healthy, it's so delicious and tasty. And so thanks so much for watching, everyone. If you like this video, I'll appreciate a thumbs up and let me know what you think. Enjoy!